In today's video, I'm going to be reacting to some of the biggest names in dropshipping and e-commerce's biggest mistakes. Now, we all know that e-commerce is something that you actually have to work at. And the people that are all the way at the top, they struggled at one point to get there, just like every single one of us.
I was at lots of personal stuff going on in my life that just really put me in a dark place.
Now, this video isn't in any way, shape, or form to demotivate anybody from starting. In fact, it's actually the opposite. This is the perfect example as to why you need to push through, why you need that mentality to actually be able to make it. There's a reason that everybody that we're reacting to today is in the top 1% of dropshippers or e-commerce owners. And that's because, again, they persevered and they had that locked in mentality. So with that, let's just go ahead and get started with Baddie in Business and AC Hampton. Now, if you do want to check out any one of these different interviews or videos for yourself, all of the different timestamps and the links to them are going to be down in the description below.
Just doing road trips with my family. I'm thankful for those road trips and everything, but it wasn't anything. I always wanted to just get out and see the world. And that was probably one of the best investments that I made with my time was doing, or with my first money that I ever made was doing that, was traveling.
So what even got you started with e-commerce, and when did you even start this whole entire, business and entrepreneurship for yourself?
Yeah, so it's actually an insane story. So I actually failed out of high school. I was at lots of personal stuff going on in my life.
I can relate to that. I didn't fail out of high school, but school was definitely not my thing, especially math, funny enough.
Life that just really put me in a dark place. And obviously we don't have to go into that completely, but I pretty much cut off everybody that I knew in my life, and I just stayed at home in my bedroom all day, and all I had was my computer. Yeah. I don't even know if I had a phone or not, but I had my laptop, and I was at the point where I could either just let life consume me and be a victim to my life, or find a way to find my purpose in life and do something and work towards my future. So
okay, so this right here it's a really good and it's a very strong point that we need to make. A lot of the times people get into this mindset where I'm done because of my environment, I'm depressed, I'm stuck at home all day for whatever reason it may be. And this is really where you need that mentality, where you need to lock in and you need to think, a year from now, am I going to be in the same exact spot thinking I'm screwed, I'm done, I have nothing to live for, I'm a failure? Or are you going to be thinking, I'm really glad that I locked in and I started whatever it was that I wanted to start, whether it be, I don't know, your e-commerce journey, maybe a fitness goal, whatever it may be, right? That is extremely important. This is really kind of where your road, where it forks, right? You have one decision you need to make, and that decision is going to define the next few years, if not the rest of your life. And it's going to really define your quality of life. So I really understand what she's talking about here, because I at one point was in that same spot where I was depressed, I was home all day, and I'm thinking, this is just how it is. But it's not. You need to lock in and you need to really believe in yourself. And no matter how hard it is, no matter how painful it is, no matter how alone you may feel, if you believe in what you're doing, keep at it.
It was the turning point where I started to just think, I'm either going to be a victim to my life, or I'm going to take this opportunity and just do whatever I can to make something out of my life. So I actually started out on Twitter.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with everything that she said right now.
That I took whatever I had right now. I didn't have that much money. I didn't have, I didn't even have a credit card at that time. I was just using a PayPal account that I had to beg my mom to set up for me. And I just used whatever I had in that moment right now to better my future in some way. So actually the store did take off. I was getting pretty consistent sales. Obviously the fulfillment was a little crazy because it was multiple different suppliers, 30-day shipment times, and it was honestly a mess. So
one thing that we need to realize about this is that she's talking about, how things used to be when everyone first started, when dropshipping and e-commerce were really starting to be on the rise. And another thing that I'm agreeing 100% with her is just the fact that she's talking about how you need to use what you have at your disposal. If you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's okay. Use what you have at the moment. Can't afford ads? That's perfectly fine. Start doing things organically. Start going on TikTok. Start posting your videos. Do these things all for yourself. Little by little, it's all going to start adding up. Not just that, but she's also talking about, how back in the day, everything was very manually done. Everything was done by hand. it was hard. It was a lot harder than it is now. Now we have tons of different tools like AutoDS that can really just automate your entire dropshipping business for you. But at the time, one of the biggest struggles was having to do things manually. And she persevered through everything. She needed to call PayPal, needed to clear up some transactions, make sure that everything was done the right way. She was on top of that. And that's another thing that a lot of people need to learn to do as well. They need that accountability. They need to be able to actually say, this is what needs to be done, and actually act on it and do it. Now, one thing that can actually help you a lot with everything that we've seen today is being able to, let's say, outsource some of your work to other people. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about having people do your video editing or pick your products and all that stuff like that, but you are able to do things like incorporate automation into your business. When I say incorporate automation, I'm talking about, let's say, AutoDS. You can check out the Handpicked Products Hub, so that way you're already saving time and money right off the bat by having access to winning and trending products that are actually trending right now. And they're all picked by expert dropshippers, so you know for a fact that they are good products. Not just that, but you have the option to be able to outsource or work with virtual assistants. So AutoDS is able to give your virtual assistants access to specific parts on the system, so that way they don't have access to, let's say, your sales or even the products that you're selling. You want to give them access to just customer service, so you don't have to worry about that. Then you're able to just do that. You can give your virtual assistants or your VAs access to just being able to message your customers and providing customer support.
Of course, I had tons of chargebacks and different things. It was like constantly on the phone with PayPal, like, I shipped this, like all this craziness. Yeah, all this craziness. So eventually, my mom at the time, even though I was making money online and like I was also like doing other side hustles too, my mom still was like, you need to like get a real job. Like you need to like go the society route. Like she's like, you cannot do this full time. It's not. Yeah. She's like, what are you even doing? Like scamming people? So like, I didn't have anybody in my life. Like I didn't have anyone that was in business. Like I don't come from a family of like business owners or like anything like that. So
now this is another thing that's very important, and that's how people see you, how people see what you're doing. So a lot of people start e-commerce, right? And people are going to look at them and they're going to think, what are you doing? You're just trying to start an online store. Anybody can do that. You're not going to make money that way. Or if you do, it's going to be a very little bit of money. You know, you can't survive off of that. Well, I mean, case in point, look at them, right? Look at everybody who's making a living right now through e-commerce. It's not a scam anymore, or never really was a scam to begin with. It's just people's perception on it. Think about it. 10, 15 years ago, when e-commerce was kind of starting to become on the rise, a lot of people didn't really know what it was, especially the older generation, right? People didn't have the resources that we have. People didn't have the internet, or they had the internet, but it wasn't at the level that it is now. And even then, people weren't adapting it the way that we are adapting it now, or the way that we're using it now. When I first started making YouTube videos, my parents were asking me, why are you giving away all of your secrets? Why are you telling people how to do things? They're going to take your business. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of different ways, a lot of different avenues to make money now. And some could be helping people. Others could be by simply starting your online store, by getting into e-commerce, becoming your own business owner. And that's one thing that a lot of people, or a lot of us as entrepreneurs, need to learn to come to terms with. Not everybody's going to accept what you're doing, and that's okay. Like I said earlier, you need to be able to believe in yourself and in what you're doing to actually be able to persevere and to keep going forward. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in what you're doing, if you're passionate about what you're doing, you got this. You're already in that mentality to actually succeed. But again, don't let people's words bring you down, especially if they don't understand what's going on, or if they don't understand simply what you're doing.
How'd you overcome that though? Because I mean, I can definitely resonate, and I'll explain about it a little bit in the future of this conversation. But like, how did you overcome the one person who you are around all day, every night, your mom, the person who you probably love and care about so much, and you value their opinion? How were you able to overcome not listening to that and go in your own direction? Like, what was that motivation like?
Well, the thing was I did do it. So I stayed with it. So I kept all my side hustles and I followed the society route. So
that is tough to do everything at once, to do what you're doing and also fulfill what your parents wanted you to do, at least at the time, right? Because I'm kind of thinking of the way that she was at the time we were kids, younger, I'm thinking the way that I did things with my parents. They weren't really too accepting of it. They really didn't understand it. I get it, but I only chose my route. If I had done what she was doing, where I did what my parents wanted me to do plus what I wanted to do, something would have failed. That's just way too much for me to do. But I applaud her. That's crazy. That's real dedication, and that's locking in.
Like, I could have, if I would have just not listened to my parents,
Yeah.
I would have probably got to this level a lot faster. And again, like, your parents, you guys, everyone that's watching this, you guys need to understand, and like, people need to understand that the opportunities that we have in our generation, no other generation before us has ever had.
Ever.
So your grandparents are not going to understand. Your parents are not going to understand. This is new opportunities that if you know, you know, and like most generations don't know. And it doesn't mean that they're trying to crush you or put down your goals. They're trying to be realistic in their mind. But we're in a position now, I feel like, in our world where we need to be almost like making money. Like, even like I know people that they're doctors and they also have social media on the side. So like, if they ever want to like stop, practice, they have their social media that's generating the passive income for them.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, people, our parents, our grandparents, they did not have any of the opportunities that we have now. And that's a huge factor in why they don't understand the e-commerce space, the YouTube space, the affiliate marketing space. That's why they don't really understand how it works, or they don't necessarily see it as an actual form of income. When in reality, these forms of income can be insanely lucrative and passive. So that way it gives you time to do other things. Like she said, there's doctors out there who are making money in their practice, but they're also making maybe just as much or maybe even more money through social media. So if you ever want to, take a break, if you ever want to say, I'm going to take a year off and I'm going to go do something else, then you don't have to worry about money. These are all opportunities that we ourselves have and have had that are unique. They're unique to us. And there's only going to be more. I mean, think about it. We're having conversations with ChatGPT as if they're real people. We know they're not real people, but if my grandparents start talking to one of these, or even if my parents start talking to one of these, they might think that they're talking to somebody real. So it's a completely different world. Complete opposite worlds, complete different perspectives. And yeah, like she said, if she had just focused on what she was doing, she would have probably gotten to where she is now a lot quicker. But hey, you do what you got to do. And she made it. And speaking about made it, there's a lot of people that have made it to the insane big leagues, like the literal 1%. And one of the biggest ones is Iman Gadzhi. And I was checking out a few different videos and I started thinking, you know what? How does he differentiate from some of the other dropshippers? Because he has a lot of different types of businesses. Everybody else has a lot of different businesses, right? But Iman Gadzhi seems to be like on a whole nother level. And I started watching through some of his videos and I realized he has an amazing life, obviously, but it seems so busy with all of the different businesses and all the different ventures that he has and he's done. Now, let's quickly check out this video because I was watching it and I saw one spot here that really stood out to me. And I want you all to see this because this is a different mentality, I guess you can say. Let's check it out.
It's so funny. Bro, this has been one of the best days I had in an extremely long time. I think when a lot of people look at your life, they see the day-to-day, they see you guys doing crazy stuff like this, but they don't see what it actually takes to...
You see, that's kind of what I'm getting to. It's like people see his day-to-day and they see him just like in a bunch of different places doing all these crazy things. And while it might seem like something that's amazing, which it is. I'm not going to even lie there. I wish I was at that level. This dude is on a whole nother level. But it takes a whole different type of mentality and a whole different level of dedication. Check this out.
Run your life at this level. Talk about the hard parts of being Iman. What's the most challenging thing about being in this position today?
I think, to be honest, it's not the work. I'd say I used to work a lot harder on paper, like a lot more hours. I'd say more so it's now the fact.
Of course, because at the beginning, you're building everything, right? Once you have everything built, then a lot of these systems kind of start to essentially run themselves, and they just need like your oversight to actually work, whether it be your dropshipping business, your e-commerce business, or anything else that you're doing. Getting the systems in place, that's the real labor-intensive part of everything.
The fact that, like, when I wake up, there's no peace. Like, when I wake up, there's 100 things on my mind. And the fact that obviously people see my life and they see the jets and the vehicles and this and that, and bro, it's nice, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have far more peace in your life if you have a nice used old Range Rover, a couple employees, you got a system that's running at 50% its potential, but it's like, it gives you a good life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm not a multi-billionaire like Iman could possibly be, but I understand what he's saying, right? Because once you do have these systems built, once you have so many different systems built, you have a lot of different things going on, then that does also start to get hectic because you need to manage every single one of these. You need to be on top of everything. Yeah, you're not doing as labor-intensive work, but you're scheduling meetings, you're scheduling flights, you're trying to come up with your next big idea. It's non-stop. And you need to be at a certain mentality. And to a certain extent, you need to have a certain amount of free time as well to be able to do these things. Like, you know, it's very possible for a dad of 3 to start something like this. But to be able to run something like this, sacrifices kind of have to start to be made, right? You need to focus where you're going to be putting your time. So to be at a level where he is, you really need to be on that mentality, and it needs to be part of you. You need to be the type of person that says, my business is essentially my life. Like, working is my thing. And to some people, they can't see themselves doing that, but others, they love it. It's who they are.
You make $500,000, $1 million a year, something like that. To take it to the level which I've taken it, you just need to accept in your heart that it's not going to be very peaceful. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you very much. I could scale back everything in my life 50%. And be at 50% my potential and just live a much happier, better life, but that's just not true to me. I'll be very...
And that's exactly what I'm getting at. Like, he has an insane amount of things going on that I can't even begin to fathom, right? But for him, that's his life. That's his lifestyle. That's who he is. If I were to get to that level, could I live like that? Probably not. Why? Because that's not my lifestyle. That's not who I am. Yes, I work. I get what I need to do done. But at the end of the day, I want to come home and I want to be able to spend time with my kids. I want to be able to spend time with my wife. This is the difference between, you know, different types of entrepreneurs, different types of people, and different types of business mentalities. Do you want to be somebody like Iman Gadzhi, who has really, I guess, anything you can really ask for, but you are 100% dedicated to work? Is that who you are? Or are you the type of person who prefers to live a more comfortable life where you're just happy and everything you need to do done, and still have time for your family? Different types of avenues for different types of people. Kind of goes back to what I said earlier with Baddie in business, right? You have a fork in the road. Every single time in life, you're going to have multiple forks in the road. The first one is going to be, should I listen to my parents or should I do my own thing? And then after that, it's going to be, let's say if you do your own thing, you get your own business, then you're going to have more forks in the road. Do I want to spend a little bit of extra time at home, or do I really want to dive in head first into work? And then all of these different things, they really start to shape your future, and they start to lead you into, you know, who you're going to be and who you're going to be as a professional.
Very vulnerable with you. Probably this year, the biggest thing that's been difficult is my relationship with my mom. It feels like this has been the worst year of me and my mom's relationship, even though I do so much for her, and this year I ticked off a really big thing on my list, which was buying her a dream house. And you would think, you know, a son's just bought his mom her $4 million dream house cash. Like, she'd be over the moon and their relationship would be the strongest it's ever been. That's actually not the case, because I have so much on my shoulders and this and that. I don't get to give her as much time. You know, I always promise her at least one mother-son activity a week. But sometimes I'm traveling and sometimes I can't honor that commitment. At the end of the day,
you see, that's exactly what I was meaning earlier. It's kind of, there's trade-offs. And you need to make sure that the route that you're going is the route that you want to be at, or where you want to go in life. But if that's you, do what you got to do. Make sure that you lock in, and make sure that you persevere and you keep going. Because if you really want to get to the level where you're happy and you're satisfied with what you want to do, you need to make these decisions, and you need to lock in, and you need to continue. Just like Iman Gadzhi did, like AC Hampton did, like Isabella from Baddie in Business. They all persevered, they kept going, and again, I keep saying it, but they locked in, and that's what it really takes. Now, this video is starting to get a little bit longer than I expected, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right here. But if you do want me to make any more reaction style videos, or if you want to hear my thoughts onto what I have to say, let's say with these kinds of stories, maybe success stories, maybe failure stories, biggest struggles, let me know down in the comments below. And make sure you smash that like button, because I want to know if this is the type of content that you like. Huge thank you to everyone for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. My name is Mario with AutoDS. Once again, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you lock in, and you got this.